All right. And hello,
How do I
hello.
sound?
I sound good. You sound good.
How do I sound?
Oh, you sound great, bro. Even coming through the
E-
live because I'm watching it. You sound great.
Excellent.
Sound great. Oh, let's not put that over there. Where the hell can I put this thing? I'll put it here.
That's gonna drive me
Watch it.
nuts.
What?
My screen's like really choppy whenever we do this.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably just because you're doing it from your phone.
I don't know why it does that.
Yeah, I don't know. That's weird. Damn, I can't even share that image because I can share this one. No, I can't share that one. Damn it. Remove. Damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it. Alright. So I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give it like an actual the intro, like how we used to have it before. Just so it's easier when I cut it, because I'm gonna upload these to the Spotify too.
I didn't hear a word you just said, man.
Oh, can you hear me?
Barely.
Oh, why is it so low? It's wild. Give me a sec. Let me check my. So it might be on your side because I can hear it coming through the live stream. 'Cause I have it on my phone. It's coming through like perfect on my side.
Okay.
Testing, testing. 1, 2, trace.
Yeah, I hear you. I'm just trying to figure out why you're not louder.
Huh? It's not there. Because you were saying that I was really low when we were still on the messenger call. Oh,
Trying to think. Yeah, I'm not sure. You can't just make it work. I'm saying I got all my stuff turned all the way up.
yeah, I can hear you like perfect. You are loud and clear. I don't know. Maybe it's the way that I have. No, because none of that's covering the mic at all. Testing, testing.
Are you all caught up on Ms. Marvel?
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. That was nice. That was nice. Like I most thoroughly enjoyed that. I thoroughly enjoyed that last episode. I mean, but of course, other people are going to be like, "Well, it was just yeah." No. At this point, anybody that got something negative to say about Miss Marvel, I'm not even listening to them because it's like, again, sir, are you a 15-year-old Muslim woman in America? Yeah. I'm gonna forever say that. I'm gonna forever say that shit because at the end of the day, like, it's not for you. So why are you feeling some kind of way about it, buddy? I don't know. All right, we'll get it started up. What's up, everybody? thank you for joining into our live. If you haven't joined in now, well, then you're not here to hear me tell you that you need to join in. Um, but for the people out here, definitely thank you guys for tuning in. Welcome to the Super Breakdown Limited Edition live. We're going to be trying to do these every Sunday at 6 p.m. We're just gonna get together, talk superheroes, talk heroes, villains, and then maybe give a little spin of our own what ifs and see where we would like them to go. I'm your host, Power Maximus, and I'm here with none other than everyone's favorite demigod, Lord Triage. Man, sound like you're eating right now. Oh
Bouncing
man.
off an ice cream cone.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Actually, ice cream don't sound bad. I actually might go grab me some. um, but no, yeah. So today, I believe the consensus was that we'll dive into some X-Men today. We'll take a look at, just random X-Men to see what we want to do. We're just gonna freelance it. That's why I wanted to do the lives. Instead of doing just the Spotify recordings and stuff, because with that, we only got an hour. With this, we can just talk for however long we want to talk, and I can upload it later.
Copy.
But yeah, so X-Men. I was talking with my boy earlier today about it, and he's like, he's interested in seeing where. Oh, he dropped out. Well, for the viewers, yeah. So he was interested in seeing where Marvel is going to be actually taking the X-Men. Seeing what the next step is. Because of course we had New Mutants, and that was the last of the Fox era. Triage is back.
What did you think of that New Mutants movie?
Missed opportunity, but also it was a missed opportunity, but I also understood because that movie was in production hell for like 4 years.
Very true.
They had that movie done for 4 years and couldn't release it. So there was rewrites, reshoots, and that movie went through hell. So I appreciate it for what it was. I'm not gonna knock it for what it wasn't. I think, and it's gonna be really weird for me to say this, but I feel like if Fox would have been able to hold on to it and keep it, I think it actually would have turned out better than the end product. Because it was supposed to be like a horror movie. It was supposed to be scary.
Yeah.
And like throughout the film you can feel those tones trying to peek out, but then you can also see the mouse kind of stomp it out before it even got there.
Oh Lord.
No, we don't do horror movies. Ha ha.
Good God. That was a good impression. That was a good impression.
Thank you.
Well, my whole feeling with the whole mutant situation is I think they're trying to very easily push us into the deep end. Because what I mean by that is like we've seen Xavier in the Multiverse of Madness. If you're all caught up on Kamala Khan, they name dropped the mutation thing. So it's like,
not just the mutation thing. If you pay attention, they had the X-Men
yes,
when he said it.
They did. And I graciously appreciate that. That was a great bit of fan service.
Absolutely.
So I think that they're trying to give us little snippets before they just go, here, this world exists also, and this is what it is. I'm just curious to like what the first incarnation of the X-Men team is we're going to see. I mean,
that's a good one.
They could do the whole first class thing. It's just that like as far as I think this is just my opinion. As far as mainstream media goes, the original 5 X-Men aren't popular enough for that. You already know my favorite X-Men is Archangel, so it's like,
yeah.
they could low key do that, but if I was the one in the chair in the driver's seat, I would do the issues or try to address the stories where the X-Men intertwined with those characters. For
Yeah.
example, Wolverine's first appearance was in the Incredible Hulk. Like right after he got his claws, his first mission was to find and kill the Incredible Hulk. So if they
Mhm.
had that happen, like he ran down on Bruce Banner and then like attacked him. But once again, he's Professor Hulk now, so
No, I think they can make it work. Because I was actually talking with a coworker of ours, and he brought up the fact that when we see Banner at in the post credit scene or at the end of Shang-Chi, he has like this green thing on his side. So, and he was thinking that they may be the sands of Ashanti, uh, but I'm thinking that it actually may be a device that continuously siphons, or kind of like a dialysis kind of thing, siphons his gamma radiation, which allows him to be in his human form.
no, okay.
But I mean, we do have She-Hulk coming up soon, so we'll be able to get to see a little bit more about what's going on with him. But again, if this is before or after Shang-Chi, that still is big to question. But I mean, they can still do Wolverine running up against Hulk, because they could have it like played as a situation where like Banner loses control again, because that's he's known to do so, and especially with Hulk being suppressed for so long, it's like he's like, I want to get my feet wet, I want to stretch my legs a little bit. So they end up having a new agent track him down. Um, but I wouldn't like them to go. I wouldn't like them going that direction. I feel like that's too. I feel like that would be too on the nose, too on the money.
I mean, it'd be a good way for them to tie in the whole thing with Weapon X and like what happened to the program because we already know Weapon One was Captain America.
That's the way I feel like they should roll that. I feel like they should roll it that way, using using Sam Wilson and Bucky to end up uncovering information about the weapons program. That's how they should tie in Wolverine and Wolverine specifically. But I feel like what they should do is I feel like it should be a team up thing, because okay, I got it. All right, this is how it should go. So new Avengers, so they're young, they're kids, they're not very experienced, go on a
Okay.
mission. They end up botching the mission as they're going through, end up running in to the squad, to the X-Men. And X-Men are like, what the hell are you doing? You're fucking up the mission. You're botching it. Follow us. Follow our lead.
Sounds a little Scooby Doo to me, but
Scooby Doo. Absolutely. I can definitely see that. Um, I don't know. I feel like I agree with you. I feel like they should definitely have them, or they can do it one at a time. We run into each individual character of the X-Men throughout, throughout the line. You know what I'm saying? What was the conversation that we were having when we were watching? What was it? Was it Moon Knight? I think that we had a whole conversation about this when we were going through Moon Knight, because we were talking about how we wanted to get. We would love to see an Archangel limited series on Disney Plus, like how we got Moon Knight.
oh, okay. So we should have the whole thing with like Xavier doing the voiceover and introducing himself and what's going on in the world and the whole thing with the mutation factor, and
Mm-hmm.
then have the first episode have him sort of like the way the Watcher broke down stuff,
Yeah, yeah.
and then have each episode about one of the original five members.
Mm-hmm.
Or even if they gave them an episode or two just to give them some kind of a little bit more grounding.
Mm-hmm.
Because I could see them doing all right. Episode, let's see, three from 1 to 3 is about Cyclops. Episodes 4 to 6 is about Bobby Drake, and then so on and so forth.
And then have it and then have them all tie each episode tie into each other, like have them all have each character connected and not know that they're connected to this other character until they meet up like later on down the line. I got a name for it. X-Men Legacies.
Okay, but my biggest question is because once again I'm a villain guy, so
Mhm.
my biggest question is how are they going to tie this whole thing in with Magneto being a Holocaust survivor, with the Holocaust being as long ago as it was? Because he'd have to be an old man. There's no way he could still be in his
Michael Fassbender. Yeah.
yeah. There's no way he could still be in his 40s. He'd have to be an older man. So it's like I would prefer, and this is just me thinking out loud. While I love Magneto, I love Michael Fassbender's portrayal of him. I love Ian McKellen's portrayal of him.
Mhm.
I would love to see Polaris as that character, as like that
Yes.
militant leader of the Brotherhood. Like she sort of inherited that job and she's doing it to not fail her father. Like we both watched Gifted and we thought that was great,
Yeah, I feel like Gifted knocked it out of the park.
right? So like if they had like even if they had that same actress come back to play that part, but do it on the big screen and have her be a little bit more militant and strategic, I think that'd be golden.
Which is interesting because we see some of that in the actual in the show. We see her with she's even out thinking who was leading the Hellfire Club in that I can't remember who it was. Um, but yeah, she actually begins to outthink the person. She starts making the big calls. She starts actually leading the team. So I can definitely see that. I actually really liked her as Polaris too.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course we actually had the actor from Days of Future Past who played Thunderbird.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we actually he actually plays the same character in Gifted. And then
Really?
yeah, that's him. That's him. That's why this is supposed to be a Gifted was supposed to be what leads up to Days of Future Past. That was what it's supposed to be the start of the shit show that led up to what Days of Future Past was.
Okay.
Yeah,
That
because we see the beginnings of the Sentinel program. We see everything start to come together. We hear them talking about that one day. Same thing with and Logan. We hear them talking about that one day where everything happened, which now mutants are being hunted down, this and that. It all takes place within a specific timeline. So that timeline starts. We see that start in Gifted, where Old Man Logan takes place all the way up to Days of Future Past. So if you want to look at it, Gifted is the beginning, Logan is the middle, and Days of Future Past is the end, in a way.
okay, that makes sense, sort of.
Yeah, but the only thing that muffs it up is the reset in Days of Future Past. That's the only thing that kind of muffs it up a little bit. Is when he goes back in time, his origins gets reset, which we see the continuation. Jesus Christ, we see we see the continuation of his origin story in I believe was it Dark Phoenix or Apocalypse? I think it was Dark Phoenix.
No, it was Apocalypse.
It was Apocalypse, right? Yeah, we see the continuation of his story of that version in an Apocalypse. Yeah. So it as we already know, the Fox timeline gets all types of muffed up and screwy with Days of Future Past. But yes, I agree. I would love to see her come back as Polaris. I would love to see maybe it's a passing of the torch. Magneto's like he's old, everything. He's passing that torch on to his daughter. And then so we don't like this is a have this be because that's what originally what it was. It was a secret battle going on. You know, the X-Men were secret; they were quiet for a while until they got brought to the light by Magneto.
Hmm.
When he dropped that bombshell of "Look at us, we're here," so they could run it that way. So remember, we had that whole 5 years to account for. Within those 5 years, especially with the snap, everyone being exposed to all that cosmic radiation. X-Men, the mutants are already in comic book canon already related to Celestials because of the experimentation that the Celestials did, creating Eternals and the Deviants, and then mutants are a distant descendant of the Eternals because there was like some how the Kree was it the Kree? Yes, the Kree were doing all those experiments and stuff on humankind and stuff.
Right. That's where
That's
the
where
whole
that's
version
where
of Carol Danvers kind of comes in at.
yup. And that's where mutants came from that from that that messing around there. So we have the Inhumans and then we have mutants. The Inhumans are the ones whose genetic code was actively changed. The mutants are the descendants of that, which that's why that X gene is dormant because it was like this person was genetically altered, slept with someone who wasn't genetically altered, and it just dilutes the bloodline all the way down till we get the X gene, which only gets brought out when that person's in a high stress factor. It gets triggered. So, what's a higher stress factor than half the population of the entire universe just disappearing,
Mm.
being exposed to all that cosmic radiation from the snap?
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Um, Another thing that would be really interesting is because we've already seen the whole Inhuman thing done with Agents of Shield, and it was done. It was done decently. And
Yeah,
then
and
we
then
we
they
have
buffed
our
it up with the show.
we have our moment with Black Bolt. So we've already seen the whole Inhuman aspect, and then I still think they're trying to work that out without it being goofy.
Yeah, it's kind of hard when you have a giant dog that teleports
Yeah, and just like some of the other ones, even like Medusa and
and stuff.
I forget the one dude who does the earthquake stomps, but you know the point I'm trying to make.
You said the other dude with the curb stomps. Did you just say the other dude with the curb stomps?
It said earthquake stomps, but
Oh,
yeah, same
earthquake stomps. Oh,
same thing, same thing.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I forgot. It started with an M.
But so I think they're still trying to work that out now with the X-Men. I get it that there's certain characters that might not transition well from the book to the screen, so you have to tweak little things, and I'm all for that. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not for completely rewriting a character. Anyone who knows me knows that. But if we have to tweak little things here and there, I'll let it slide.
Yeah,
I mean, shit, we've been trying to wait 20 years to see Gambit.
yeah, yeah. I'm tight that they botched that because they're about to have Channing Tatum play him. He wanted to.
I don't listen, man. I don't know how I feel about that.
I would have took it because he actually. Well, first off, he's from New Orleans. His family's from New Orleans, so he has the New Orleans accent down pat, and we've already seen him with the goatee. If in Jupiter Ascending, I feel
All
like he
right.
would be able to play. I think he would be able to do a lot better. Plus, that's his favorite character. He's like, yo, Gambit's my favorite character. I know everything about Gambit. So, and we've seen this before when they've gotten actors who know nothing about the character that they're playing, and it just comes off absolutely horrible. So I would say get someone who knows the character, who's actually like a fan of the character, knows the character's story, and wants to be that character. You know what I mean? Not somebody that's just doing it for the paycheck.
Mm.
I feel like he would have did good because he was setting up for what movie? It was a movie that he was setting up with somebody. and they were doing a press junket for it. Oh, it was him and Samuel Jackson for that White House movie that they did.
Right.
Was it Sam
But
Jackson?
no, it was Jamie Foxx.
Jimmy Fox. Yeah, with Jamie Fox. Yeah.
Sweet Christmas.
I don't know
But
why it's Samuel Jackson.
once again, them doing the whole thing with Gambit that could tie into the Morlocks and Archangel.
Yep.
So like it all intertwines. They just have to lay the pieces right.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, once they get that mapped out of how they could lay the foundation, have it done right, and then decide who they want to focus more or less on.
Mm-hmm.
Because say what you want about the X-Men from done by Fox. I don't hate those movies. There's one or two I don't care for, but as a whole, I think the series is great.
Yeah.
Now,
I agree.
My thing with that is, and I'm probably going to catch out for this, they focus too much on Hugh Jackman's Wolverine for me.
Yes, I love it. I respect it. But if you're doing an X-Men film, it needs to be about the X-Men, not just one of the X-Men.
Now, I get he's the most popular. I do understand that because I'm a Wolverine fan. I like Wolverine, but it's like, the X-Men is an overall team. So it's like there has to be a little bit more full rounded than that, or at least make the team rounded as a whole.
Yeah. Yeah, now I'm thinking about it. Wow, yeah. I'm looking back at those, and Wolverine literally was the main character of the X-Men movies. Literally, it was like the story of like the new guy comes into the team and just outshines the original leader and then becomes the leader. At the same time, they did Cyclops dirty.
And that's another thing, man, because they did an animated show probably like a decade ago that was called Wolverine and the X-Men. Now, Wolverine and the X-Men is great. I thought it was greatly done. I thought it was greatly written. I love the animation. I thought the story and the way they put it together was good. My only beef, and once again, I know I'm going to hear about this, is the whole thing with Wolverine leading the X-Men. It would never happen. It would never happen.
He already doesn't want to work with y'all, and and then just to put him as the leader of it, like,
listen, man,
I think the thing is like because he respected Xavier so much. I think if I remember correctly, that's really what they were going for. He didn't want to, but it was because he respected Xavier so much that he was like, all right, I'll do this. I think that's what they were trying to go for in that show.
But here's my thing. All right, just follow me down the rabbit hole real quick. Okay. If we're talking about the X-Men from, let's say, the late 80s, early 90s, all right, matter of fact, let's just use the ones from the goddamn cartoon. That's the best template.
Yep.
So if Xavier actually is the leader, all right, if we acknowledge Xavier as a leader, that means that Cyclops is number 2, or he's the field commander, whatever. Then after Cyclops, it was Storm.
Yep.
So it's like there's got to be someone between Beast, Gambit, Jubilee, fucking Iceman, Angel. Like there's another like 7, 8 other characters who, in my opinion, would be more qualified as a leader than Wolverine. What's next? Bumblebee's going to lead the Transformers?
That it seemed like that's what they were going for, but we're not going to get into that because that's a whole other like rabbit hole to drop down. I feel you. I get what you're saying. I agree. I feel like to me the lineup goes Xavier number 1, Cyclops number 2. I feel like Storm was supposed to be number 3.
She is.
But if you look at it, the way they had, I'm based off those movies. The way they had it for the movies, they had essentially Jean was number 3. They had Jean as number 3, and Storm was just chilling in the background as an over emotional black girl that creates storms. I hated that.
Over emotional.
I hated that so much, especially in X3. Especially in X3. I feel like I see where it was going in X3 with her, as in proud, extremist black woman. Because again, that's what the X-Men was for, to talk about oppression and talk about racism. That's what Stanley created the X-Men for. So, as her being, I think, literally the only black woman in that movie, they wrote her to be the one that was like civil rights like activists, like, no, we're strong mutants, i.e., we are strong black independent, and I just feel like that bothered me a little bit to have. Okay, I get it, makes sense, but you could have went with Beast, the one that literally don't look regular, be the one to fight for it, because then you had, in that one scene, you had Aurora and Hank as a Martin Luther King Malcolm X situation when things were talking about the cure.
Mm.
And he's like, well, no, there's a political way we have to go about it, blah, 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 him being a politician. But she's like, nah, F that, screw these motherfuckers, yada, 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 ain't nothing wrong with me, this and that. They, you know what I mean? She was the one that was trying to be like, they wrote her to be more hanging on the radical side of it. When in turn, I feel like they shouldn't have had it that way. There was other things they could have did with that, you know. But yeah, in the show, in the movies, they never focused on Storm. Storm was never technically supposed to be the number two in the thing. In the comic books, yeah. In any other iteration of them, yeah. But for some reason, those movies just didn't want to focus on Halle Berry being the number two.
Yeah.
X-Men Evolution. And Evolution, which I feel like was a masterpiece. They did that well, super well. Even then, she was number. Even in that, she was number two. It was actually her and Scott. No, it was actually she was the. If I remember correctly, she was the oldest.
Mm-hmm.
And then it went. Then it was Scott and Jean.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, she was working directly underneath Xavier. So I think, and then when Hank came into the picture, he never really took the lead because he was always just focused on, the science aspect of it, trying to make himself not blue anymore. So I don't know. I feel like there was a. I don't know. I just feel like they gotta get it right. I want to see one set, incarnation going into this MCU.
Well, it's also
At least
one.
two. I'll take two. An animated incarnation that has a certain setup, and then a live action. But having all these different, oh well, over here they're this, over here they're that. Did you see the anime?
I did not actually.
Gold. The anime is gold. And for some reason, I don't know why, I haven't looked it up. It's canceled. It got canceled. It was from years ago.
Yeah, I
It's
know
on
what you're
Netflix.
talking about.
Shit, and even in that, you see a lot of Wolverine.
He's the best editor is at what he does. What he does is very nice.
But yeah, man, I agree with you 100%. Going back to what you said, like, yo, 100% love and respect Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. It's just they focused far too heavily on him, and like literally, like the whole story of X2 was revolving around him.
Right, yeah. And once
Jean
again,
air quote died because of him.
once
Air
again,
quote.
I don't hate that because it made sense. I got the whole thing with Stryker and him coming back and him going into his past and him explaining certain shit, but it's like, uh, I mean, you had cats who had fucking 5 second, 10-second cameos, should have been the whole damn movie. Colossus.
Right?
He should have been way more predominant in that series.
Absolutely. Like we never really get to see him suit up like that. What is it in the in X2 we see him suit up real quick. He saves the kids
Then
from the man.
he fights a little bit in X3, but
Yeah. I don't know. There's and then multiple man.
don't get me started on that.
Again, also like a really prevalent in the comic books. Barely any shine time. I believe the dude that was throwing the bones at Wolverine
Was
was supposed
Meryl?
it was
No,
supposed to be
not
Meryl,
Meryl. It was supposed to be a Spike, I think.
right? Oh yeah. It was supposed to be Spike, which again that makes no sense because Spike is Aurora's nephew.
Right? But I think Spike was one of them situations where he was specifically created for X-Men Evolution. So it
Yeah.
might be one of those things like where they just use the character in that way. Just like how Avalanche is in that movie too, but it's like he's never really name dropped or mentioned. You have to like actually see that and know who the character was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You gotta be able just gotta know that character's powers and stuff. To be
Right.
able to, oh, that's that. Oh, that's who. That's him.
Well, like once again, they've already subtly laid the foundation a little bit for some of this shit. Cause like and here's something I'm really surprised in hindsight. And once again, just follow me down the rabbit hole.
Uh-huh.
Because did you watch Love and Thunder, correct? Have you seen it?
No, I have not. I haven't seen Love and Thunder yet.
Okay. So quick spoiler, nothing major to the plot, but they wind up in this basically like this hall where you see all the gods. And
Yeah, yeah, I know about that.
one of the gods you see is Bast.
Really?
Yes. Like there's a scene like where Bast is literally sitting in front of them. But if you're someone who doesn't know who Bast is, you wouldn't have realized it. Like the second I saw her, I knew it was her.
Oh.
Now, once again, Bast is the Panther goddess, and the whole thing with Wakanda being in Africa. Now,
Mm-hmm.
between that and the whole thing that we just saw with Moon Knight and all the things he just went through with Ahmet and Khonshu and everything with the whole thing with the
Yeah,
Egyptian gods,
yeah.
right? Now, my question is, with all this stuff that's going on the motherland, why have we not seen Apocalypse yet?
Well, because technically, if I remember from the comic books, he really wasn't a god.
He's not. But this is the thing. You got to remember, neither was a pharaoh, but a pharaoh got worshipped as a god amongst humans. So it's one of those things where if he displayed this earthly power, why would what was it Black Adam said? If I have the powers of a god, should I not be treated as such?
Yeah. Yeah.
So like I keep waiting to see them subtly drop him or point to him or be like, oh, hey, isn't that a statue of Unsummoned Nor? Yeah, we'll talk about him at a later point in time. Move on with the tour. I'm just waiting for them just to ease that in to be like, oh, all right, this guy is there, but it's like it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah. Yeah, I see that. And I feel like that would be a good, if anything, that would be a good setup right there. That would be good name drop, good setup because you're mentioning the air quote first mutant. So
who was in Egyptian lore, who was a pharaoh, who did rule the world at one point in time. Because another fellow level 7, shout out to my boy Blaze Ram, he acknowledged something because he was like, how wouldn't if he had wouldn't Apocalypse have interacted with Kang at some point in time?
maybe, yeah.
Because Kang's an Egyptian conqueror also. Once again, like I said, the map is there. They just got to lay the pieces together so it works.
Huh. Well, here's the thing. At what times were they ruling?
That's a fair question. And honestly, I can't answer it off the top of my head. I have to do a little bit more research. But it's one of those things where if one came after the other, one would have to know about the other.
Not necessarily, because over time a lot of information gets lost. And actually from what we're just now learning as well within in the real world, Egypt, ancient Egypt was actually there's there's a whole level of history, like the time in which we think that the Egyptian empire started, that's in the history books, is at least, I believe it said, about 2 to 3 thousand years off from when it originally started.
Mm-hmm.
So
That would make sense.
yeah, there's a lot because we're only going off when of what we have found that the records have shown. But there's a certain point in time, like that's just from when people decided to start recording the fact that we doing all this dope ass shit over here. So there could possibly be like Kang came first. He was ruling first, and then whatever happened with him, and then like centuries passed, and now we have Apocalypse, or vice versa. You know what I mean? There's so, especially when you're talking about time, there's so much you can do, especially with a world that is as vast as the MCU, and the fact that it's being controlled by the creators. They literally could just be like, and because that snippet has never been clarified, they can easily be like, oh yeah, they were centuries apart.
Mm-hmm.
Or they can have it as Apocalypse came first, he got entombed, and then Kang came after. But it would have to be the other way. Kang would have to have come first, because no one knew the existence of Kang, but everyone knew of the tales and lores and existence of Apocalypse, because they were able to, they've been, people were trying to find his tomb and stuff like that. So there's records of it. So Kang would have to be so far back before there were even records, people even recording history.
Right. Okay, that would make sense. And that would also go back to the whole thing with Loki and him manipulating the timeline.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So, and again, everything comes full circle.
Very true. Very true.
May not be in a exact circle, more like a figure eight infinity symbol,
Or
because there's that one point where everything kind of intersects, but also leads back and also leads forward at the same time. So that's where it gets complicated with, when you, especially in the MCU, when you're talking about time. So there's a possibility. It's infinite possibilities, as the Watcher would say. Infinite possibilities. But I would most certainly love them to narrow it down and get on the goddamn ball, because I just don't understand how Fantastic Four is getting a remake before the X-Men.
um, I think.
Yeah,
they're doing that. I'm not, the honest answer for that is because the Fantastic Four ties into the cosmic.
true, true.
That goes Galactus, Silver Surfer, the Heralds, the Scroll, the Kree. There's a lot of stuff that goes along with that whole Fantastic Four space odyssey. Like that shit caused so many ripples through time. That's just like how well, once again, we talked about the whole thing with the X-Men. Like if the X-Men show up, does that mean the Shi'ar Empire is going to show up? Because the one fight I would love to see would be Gladiator versus the Juggernaut.
Oh yeah, yeah. And you're
Because
right. It makes sense because they've already introduced the Skrull, already introduced the Kree. They already have that platform for a cosmic set up, which is this is what pisses me off. They already have the platform for cosmic set up. So why are you diving into anything except cosmic? Why are we seeing, don't get me wrong, I'm glad to see a Blade movie. I'm happy to see a Blade movie. Why are we seeing Blade at this moment in time? If we're looking at cosmic right now.
But see, once again, there's different angles, different revenue streams. Now, for example, like we look at the original team of Avengers, all right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, we can talk about those 16 members all day, every day. Most people who know Marvel shit have at least an idea of who they are, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, with the original six, only 3 of them had their own franchises. That was Captain America, Iron Man, and Thor.
Mm-hmm.
Now, once again, anyone who you ask agrees that the Captain Americas are good. Period.
Mm-hmm.
Right? People don't feel the same way about the Thors.
This is true.
People don't like them first 2, and then the third and the fourth one are comedies.
Yep.
Iron Man. That first one, great. 2 and 3, not so much to me.
For me, it's only 3. I feel like 3 was definitely one where they just like went left with it. I thought, fuck, what the hell? What happened in 2?
That was the whole thing with Whiplash and
Oh yeah, okay, nah, never mind. Yeah, yeah,
and,
yeah.
and,
If I had to rank them, it'll be 1, 2, and 3.
yeah. So, and once again, I don't hate. I don't. That's a lie. I do hate Iron Man. I hate Iron Man with a fucking passion. But my whole thing is like I get what they were trying to do. All right. Like I was expecting like them to go the more horror demon in the bottle storyline, have him be like irresponsible, him find out he was dying. Like I get that they touched on it, but it wasn't as dark as it was in the original source material.
Yeah.
Just like the whole thing with Thor. Like Thor's got a few good stories that they could have really tweaked and twerked into this fucking mainstream media and have it been like, oh shit, this is what's going on in the MCU, but no, they didn't do that.
Yeah, I can definitely admit it definitely felt a little weird to go from Ragnarok, a comedy, straight into Infinity War and how all that went. I definitely felt like that was really awkward, really weird transition. And then on top of that, to be coming out of such a dark time in the MCU, and then Love and Thunder as a comedy, kind of feel like the themes don't match up very well.
Right? But that's also the character and what they can do with it. Now, I saw the Black Widow movie. I didn't hate it.
Mm-hmm.
I saw the Hawkeye show. Didn't hate it.
No, actually, I'm actually fond of it.
Right? I was actually saying to someone 2, 3 days ago, like all they had to do was make them to a team. Honestly, if they could have gave them a trilogy and they were team and they were showed them as partners and they made it like a little bit more of a 007 feel to it, it'd have been perfect.
For Kate and Clint.
No, for Clint and Natasha.
Oh yeah, because we there's throughout the series, we like throughout the MCU, we hear them talk about missions that they work together.
I want to know what
From
happened in Budapest.
I want to know what happened in Budapest. Wait, I think we found out what happened in Budapest
I do not remember them ever saying what happened in Budapest.
in the movie. What happened in Budapest was it was Clint that talked her out of killing the dude's daughter.
I don't remember. I had to go back and verify it.
Yeah, me too. I'd have to go back. I thought it was Clint that had brought her back because she was about to go over the edge. She was
Right?
about to, you know, go to a place that she wasn't gonna be able to come back from. And it was if I remember correctly, it was Clint that was like, "Yeah, Natasha, don't take the shot."
All right.
No. We'll confirm later on. But
Copy.
still, yeah, stuff like that is definitely. I agree with you. I would like to see more stuff like that.
And everybody remembers the whole Incredible Hulk fiasco. Now, once again, I didn't hate the Incredible Hulk. I really don't.
Yeah.
I still want to know what the hell happened to the leader.
Yeah. Oh, whoa. Yeah.
Like he's still out there in the MCU somewhere too. Let's not forget about him. And then but the point I was trying to make is that like we have the three main characters of the Avengers were the ones who have their own franchises individually outside the team. Now, you were asking about the whole thing, like with the whole thing of them giving Blade its own revenue. Now, we've already realized, I think that they're trying to go three different routes right now.
Yeah.
Now, just follow me down this rabbit hole. I think that they're trying to do a horror aspect, which is going to include everything that's like thriller, scary. That's going to be like your Ghost Rider, your Blade, your Multiverse of Madness. That's going to be that take on it because there's a lot of horror or scary characters that they could tie into these series, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then the second lane that they're going through is going to be the cosmic lane. That's going to be your Fantastic Four, your Silver Surfer, Galactus, the whole thing with the Celestials and how they're all tying that back in. If you watch Guardians of the Galaxy, they're doing a third one, and then the whole thing they name dropped Adam Warlock, but we haven't seen him yet. So it's like there's a lot of angles with
we
that.
know he's going to be in 3 because they've already casted the role and it's all been confirmed.
Right. So I'm thinking like that's the big thing that they're doing with that is going to be like it's going to be like the Space Odyssey era. So it's going to be like the whole thing, like what's going on just above the big blue marble.
Yeah.
And then the third aspect, I think, is going to be like more the political thing, like what's right and what's wrong. Like, because once again, living in America, we deal with these issues about what's right, what's wrong, what's evil, what's good, what's bad. And it's like how we have court cases being overturned and people's opinions being swayed and changed and people arguing for rights. And it's like, if that's not the X-Men in the forefront of that, I don't know what is.
Yeah. And I definitely see that, especially. Here's what I would like to do, like to see, because we already see that. We already see that political aspect in Falcon and Winter Soldier, or Captain America and Winter Soldier.
Right.
Like that show was purely on the political side of it. From political pawns with U.S. agent to making the wrong choices when it comes to immigration and refugees and stuff like that. From hell, racism, which was played a big role in that show.
Mm-hmm.
And, the black man come down, Landon is like, so he's like, no, and I'm telling you that whole speech that they had Sam gave me chills.
Where they were like, "Oh, you don't understand, son." He's like, "I'm a black man carrying the stars and stripes. What don't I understand?"
Yeah,
yeah.
That whole speech had me like, yo. Like, so I can definitely see that. And I would like to see that. I would like to see them, what's going on. So yeah, taking a look at 3 different dimensions. You have like you said, the big blue marble. They're taking a look what's going on the surface of the big blue marble. They're taking a look at what's going on under the big blue marble, as in what's going on in the in the shadows. What you can't
Mm-hmm.
see, don't see. And then, like you said, they're going above the marble, the marble as well, and seeing what's going on outside, and showing that like everything that just happened with you guys, in the MCU is but just a speck on the cosmic scale.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Because like we had someone we worked with who's actually not there no more, who actually said that she didn't like Falcon and Winter Soldier, because she felt it was too political. But the whole basis of Captain America was being political. All the
Mm-hmm.
Captain America movies are political.
Yep.
If you don't think they weren't, they're not paying attention.
Which you would have to be asleep. You would have to watch the movie asleep to not get that.
Nah, because it was the black politics that got thrown in that was the issue.
Mm.
That's just my opinion. But now we've already seen the political aspect be addressed. Like, once again, I think the X-Men is just going to take over that whole lane. Now, we just talked about the whole thing with the Celestials, the Fantastic Four, right? Thor technically was Thor and the Guardians of the Galaxy. They technically were that whole space odyssey beyond the stars, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, now we have them coming in to take it with the Fantastic Four. So once again, they're taking that angle. Now, the only thing that's really switching to me is the whole thing with Iron Man, because it's like how Iron Man was always Iron Man actually was very political too, but it's also one of those things like, we talk about gun control, what's right, what's wrong, what should you be able to own, what should you not be able to own, what's safe and what's not safe. I think like the whole horror aspect of the MCU is supposed to be phasing off of that, because it's like, we talk about how guns don't kill people, people kill people. And then it's like we're seeing like that scary, creepy what's in the dark, to the point where we need these weapons in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
So like, once again, it's all coming full circle. You just kind of got to notice how it's being done.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. Mm. Yeah, they're definitely, because I feel like when it comes to like what's going on now, because again, all these characters and these stories have to be relatable in some way in order to get people to actually want to watch them. So like, especially within the time and the age that we're in, what's more relatable than people fighting over politics?
Right?
So now they're taken to a point like, all right, well, we made our point. We got the audience invested in these characters. Hell, even with Shang-Chi, there was a level of politics from the start.
Right? And see, this is something I keep waiting to see. I hope, all right? I'm hoping they do this. I want to see his daughter get the rings and then her square off with Ironheart. That way we can actually get that fucking fight between Iron Man and the Mandarin that we've been denied.
Mm.
Like, if
Yes.
she took the rings and said she's the Mandarin now.
Yeah. I'll be down for that.
Right?
In general, I want to see Shang-Chi go up against Iron Fist.
See, he had to knock on that taboo door. He had to knock on that door. Once again, I I have watched the series twice. I think it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
It could be a lot better, but
Absolutely.
it's one of those things where that's another thing too. Like, what are they going to do with the Defenders? Because they've already announced that they're giving both Jessica Jones and Daredevil their own another season.
I was actually just talking to my boy about that earlier today as well, because he's currently playing Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. And so we were just talking about the characters and stuff, and he brought was like, "Huh, I really hope that we get a conclusion to the ending of Luke Cage." Because what? He's just like bad now? Like what?
I think
He
it's
just
one of the things. He sees
yeah
himself as like a necessary evil. That's my opinion. Well,
yeah
my whole thing is like, once again, I get the angle they were going with that, and I like the idea of it, but it's like, in my opinion, and this is just me thinking out loud, with them keeping them grounded at the urban level, and that's not a bad thing by no means.
yeah
I want to see them deal with the more urban issues. Like, all right, for example, Luke's in Harlem, right?
mm-hmm
So he basically said that he's show enough, he's Shogun of Harlem.
mm-hmm
So, like, say like, okay, from there, like, say he like crosses paths with someone like Tombstone.
oh 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 that would be nice.
Like, oh no, you're like, nah, you think you're nah, so I hear you think you're the boss of the city. Nah, I got a problem with that. Right?
Oh yeah, and then of course run into Kingpin, run into Fist,
Because Lord knows
all that.
he's the one who actually runs the city. So it's like,
Mm-hmm. And as we know, we see Kingpin is back. He's out in the actual, actor and everything. So that right off the rip automatically connects everything together.
mm-hmm,
And of course in the Defenders we've seen Madame Gao in the Defenders, and so that and the fact that Fisk was essentially, in a way, he was controlling the hand.
oh, very, very much so.
He was controlling the hand from a distance. So we know all that just ties into Fisk ruling everything and running everything from the shadows.
Right?
So I feel that, and honestly, I said that from the beginning. Though I said that from the beginning that we need to see these multiple layers, and I think they're just now finally starting to get in to building those multiple layers. We got the ground team like the Defenders and hell, even Spider-Man. You know what I mean? The ground team that working in the sea. Yeah, bro, I want to see Luke Cage and Spider-Man. I want to see that Luke Cage and Spider-Man team up, man. Because I remember they did that in Web of Shadows, Spider-Man
Yes.
Web of Shadows. Yup, he runs. Wolverine was in there too. Um, like I would love to see that. I would love them to finally bring in Felicia as well, because that would be super dope. They don't even have to bring her in Spider-Man. They can bring her in because it's all street level crime.
Right? Listen, Felicia Hardy show up, he's gonna get turned inside out. He ain't ready for that. He ain't ready for that.
She'll hack him up like a goddamn hairball. Like, again, these are the things I'm interested in seeing, because they built this whole world, this whole ground level or urban level Avengers, essentially, with the Defenders. Not to mention all the other ground level, because again, so far, ground level for me, ground level is Luke, Jules, Daredevil, Iron Fist, Blade. I definitely see Blade as like a ground level character, as in like he don't fight Thanoses, he don't fight these celestial beings. He on the ground, he squares up.
Oh
He
yeah,
got
I
what
could
he's
definitely
great
see him. I could definitely see
at.
him running into Luke Cage. What are you talking about? Vampires in Harlem? Sweet Christmas.
Exactly. Yeah, vampires in Harlem. Ah, man, you out your mind.
Like, nigga, please.
Yeah, Marshall Ali. Really? We got aliens coming from the sky, and you want to question me about vampires?
Yeah, you got a point.
You got a man running around with a flaming head. You want to talk to me about vampires? Got gods coming down, destroying buildings, and you want to ask questions about vampires? I can see that. Oh wow. Oh my god. And then, dude, that would be dope. That would be a dope ass team up. Marshall Ali's Blade, Michael Coulter's Luke Cage, got Misty Knight. Like, dude, that would be one hell of a team up right there.
What they
Look.
gonna call the team? Affirmative action.
No, there's like they can. That's a short mini series, Vampires in Harlem or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
They already saw vampires in Brooklyn.
I was just about to say that would be some shit. You see how the MCU is bringing in all these A-list actors and stuff like that, right? I swear to God, if they decide, hey, Eddie Murphy, will you answer the call?
He might finally get that Oscar he wants.
That's wild that he really hasn't gotten an Oscar yet. It's wild. It's just because his works are so like alternative. They're super alt. They're not and also black. but but no, that would be dope. Seeing that team up right there, and just have a team up of just all black, ground level heroes. And especially, who wouldn't be better to help Blade out in a vampire situation than Luke Cage, a man whose skin can't be pierced?
Yeah, yeah. Now hold on. That's by conventional means. Does that qualify with supernatural means also?
I was just about to bring that up too. That all depends on what type of vampires are they going with. Are they going with the supernatural vampire, or are they going with the mutation genetic vampire? Because in the comic books, it didn't really like specify, but it clearly seemed more supernatural than anything. Just because back in that time, the idea of vampire was supernatural, so that was an automatic default when you talk about vampires. But I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like what changed that was the fact of Wesley Snipes blade. I feel like the Wesley Snipes blade took vampires to a more genetic level, on a scientific level.
I would say yes. Between the whole thing, like with Deacon and the Blood God, and then the thing with them storing humans for cold storage, so you
Hmm.
continuously feed on them. And then let's not forget everything that happened with the Reaper strain.
Yeah, yeah. Wow. Hold on. Now I'm really thinking about that. How the hell are you going to bring in the Blood God, again, supernatural, and then have everything else after that just be all like on a genetic level, on like a scientific side of it? After that, we never hear anything else about no type of blood gods, no none of that after that.
Right? Makes you think, right?
Yeah. Wait, did Blade kill a god?
It's one of those things where did he kill the god or did he kill the host the god was using?
Exactly. But there's a lot of stories where, like, if the host is killed, maybe the god will be killed too. You've seen a lot of stories with that as well.
Right? Maybe it's one of those things that I just didn't think it all the way through.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. You're right. But not yet. But you bring about a good question. I feel like I'd say they might actually end up going more of the supernatural route with Marshall Ali's blade, because we see him talking to Jon Snow there, soon to be Black Knight,
Kit Harington.
Yes, yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's really hard to say because we know for a fact he's supposed to be teaming up with Morbius. There's supposed to be that crossover with Morbius at some point in time. There has to be. It's in the cards.
Or they either wind up squaring off with one another, or they wind up teaming up. It's only one of those two.
Exactly, exactly. Um, but the way they did Morbius in the movie, which was horrendous. Yeah. Oh God. Like I said, I just recently watched that, and I'm like, yeah, definitely worth $5. Um, but they definitely made him more of a hero than anything. But even then,
Um,
with that, no, they actually really didn't even specify because they had. And here's a plot hole with that: he made two of those serums to take out Milo and to take out himself. But it's now like, but he hits Milo with that, but the movie ends with him flying off, and it's just we're not going to talk about the post credit scenes. We're not going to talk about that mess. But like, I don't know because they don't because what happens when he gets to that point of needing to feed solely on human blood. But now here's the other question: the chick. I don't know if you watched Morbius or not. Did you?
I've seen bits and pieces of it.
So the chick, his assistant, like, what's her angle on this?
Let's see, that wasn't Liz or Gwen Stacy, right?
That and it just doesn't make any sense to me right now. Like, what's her whole angle?
Maybe she
Because
was.
like it makes sense as an all right, because we know with vampire lore, you cannot become a vampire even if you're bitten by a vampire. You will not become a vampire unless you ingest that vampire's blood. That's the way vampires and vampirism works. A vampire can bleed you dry, and you won't come back as a vampire unless you ingest that vampire. And anytime you see it, that's how it is. They bite you, they make you sick, they get you close to death, and then you feed on their blood, and then that's what turns you to a vampire. Vampire. So that's what she does. She kisses him, bites his lip, which is now this has me weird. How the hell does she make a vampire bleed?
Well, it is one of the things that they have seen that a bit in lore where they do bleed, but their wounds heal right away. Well, once again, he's also not the traditional version of the vamp because it's like
Yeah, that's
it's
true.
more it's more the science aspect of it.
That's true. That's true. But he just got slammed through a whole construction building. It didn't bleed. But Shorty bites his what? What does he get weakened when he's horny or something? Like,
Oh my god!
like what? Like, and then what? Shorty just is able to bite his lip and make him bleed. This man got punched by another vampire with super strength. He got his ass whooped by Milo through an entire building. Got put through the ground. This man didn't bleed. He had a whole Superman level fight and didn't bleed. How, Sway? How?
I can't answer that question.
Exactly, but what is he just weakened to women and sure he just bites his lip and he bleeds?
Listen, maybe he had all his blood flowing to one spot and it kind of fucked him up and it weakened him. I don't know. I can't answer that question. Once again, that's them writing plot holes we be talking about.
Right? But now, after that, so we see her wake up. Clearly, she's a vampire now. She loved Morbius, and they can clearly figure out where each other are. Why is she linked up with him after the fact? I'm just saying, if I love somebody like that, I just came back as a vampire. They a vampire. We can spend happily ever after together.
Okay, Bella Swan.
Happily ever after without the bruises.
It sounds like
Without
Stockholm Syndrome to me.
Without the back-breaking pregnancy.
Actually, that part sounds kind of fun.
No, the back-breaking comes before the pregnancy. What are you talking about? Back-breaking is before the pregnancy. But, like, yeah, I'm just saying, I would have got up. I would have been like, hey, yo, homie, I'm alive. Where you at? I know you can hear me. And we just would have flew off together. Like, I don't know. That movie was bad. That movie was just bad. It's just, I just feel like, but yes. So MCU, they're setting up on multiple levels finally, which we've been wanting to see for ages. We got the ground level defenders coming back, getting Blade, which I need to see our defenders on the big screen. I need to see them on the big screen because it kind of got me tight that they weren't at least in Endgame. At least in Endgame.
But no one's had interactions with them. Not even Nick Fury. And you figure Fury would have at least been the person to know about them.
You know full well Fury knows about them. You think Nick Fury don't know about a 6 foot tall, bald black man who's impervious and super strong running around Harlem? You think Nick Fury don't know about that?
Listen, I'm just saying, all right? I'm just saying.
This man, Nick Fury, knew about aliens before the rest of the world did. He knew about other planets. This man, Nick Fury, was the first man to have an extraterrestrial encounter.
Oh, yeah, because you're talking about when he lost his eye to Goose. That was some of the most pussiest shit ever. I don't care what no one says. Last time I trusted someone, I lost an eye. Yeah, if you hadn't let that pussy get that close to your face, nigga, it wouldn't have happened, bitch.
I think that's exactly what they were trying to go for, though. I swear to God, that was an innuendo. That was a very silent innuendo. That was a very silent innuendo. Just that you don't let your face get that close to your face.
Listen, always use dental dam, kids. Moving on.
Always wear gloves when handling a stray pussy.
Just saying. So my feelings on that are, okay, maybe you're right. But even then, man, we ain't seen the nigga because he's off somewhere doing God knows what, all right?
This is true. Honestly, you're right, because, well, we know where he is.
Do we?
Yeah, he's in space. He's in space. He out there rocking with the Skrull. He out there in space with the Skrull. We see him at the end of Homecoming. No, Far From Home. In a post-credit scene, he up there hanging out with the Skrulls. Which that base is going to eventually become Sword. Because we see Sword already, but Sword is actually supposed to be a space station.
Mm-hmm. They're talking about how that S and Sword stands for Sentinels.
What was that?
That S and Sword stands for Sentinels.
It does, actually, right? Right? I don't forget. Let me see. I forgot. I looked it up when it first came up in in WandaVision, I looked it up and then I just completely forgot. What's it stand for? What's it stand for? Are you gonna tell me? Oh, yep, the Sentient Weapon Observation and Response Division. I don't know why they threw sentient in there, but all right. But yeah, that's gonna be interesting because we got the people that are in that. We already, I don't know, because you still got to see Spider Woman, which I really hope they don't do.
What?
I don't know. I'm not. I don't
Whoa,
know.
hold on,
I'm not
hold on.
to see Spider Woman. I'm
Where
not.
did that come from?
I don't know. I'm not. I'm not interested to see Spider Woman. I'm not interested to see Jessica Drew. At least not yet.
Neither mind, man. I'd rather see Miles Morales.
Exactly. Exactly.
Flash
But
Spider-Man.
so here's the thing, though. If I when we do see Spider Woman, what's a fan cast that you would do for Spider Woman?
Honestly, and this isn't me being obnoxious, I don't care enough to think about it. Who would you do? That's the better question. Because you've obviously thought about it.
I'd say Issa Rae.
What?
Yeah,
Who?
Issa Rae.
Oh my God.
I can see Issa Rae because that. Now here's the thing. Now it depends. If you want to go with a black Spider Woman, I do Issa Rae. If you want to see a white Spider Woman, which I don't, but yeah, we can go with that. Hmm, white Spider Woman. I don't know for a white Spider Woman. Trying to think. I don't know. I don't know who I want to see as a white Spider Woman. Wait, what? Spider Woman pregnant? Excuse me. Sorry, I just stumbled across a comic book with Spider Woman pregnant.
I'm actually not surprised.
Interesting, but I gotta look that up. I gotta look into that some more because who's the baby daddy? Miles. What?
They're
Yeah.
about to they give birth to a tarantula the size of a baby horse.
Oh god, that's terrifying. No, 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 no. Now, here's the thing. I'll put it this way. The reason why I say Issa Rae is because she's already playing Spider Woman. She's playing Spider Woman in I believe she's playing Spider Woman in Across the Spider Verse.
Ah, okay.
So for me, I would like to see that translate over into because I think Issa Rae is good. I think she's good. I think she's a great actress. I think she's really good. Um, it's like, huh? Not on the. Oh no, actress. That's right. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. She's playing. Yeah. She's playing Jessica Drew in Across the Spider Verse. Well, I think she's good. I definitely think she. I would like to see her in a more serious role like this. So yeah, it'll be interesting. Very interesting to see. Um. Now, here we go. Let me make you laugh. Female Spider Woman. Oh, white Spider-Woman.
Rose McGowan.
Mary Kate or Ashley.
All I'm hearing is apples to oranges, and
You can still compare them.
I honestly
I'm just saying, like, they gotta. They sister need to hook them up with a job. Get them a job.
nah, man. I don't even know how they look right now. That might not even be the best move. They might scare the kids more than Wanda did.
But no, yo, I thought that, bro. I was thinking while I was watching Multiverse of Madness, I thought that would have been really cool. I thought that would have been really cool if they had brought in one of the twins to play an alternate Wanda.
Mm-hmm.
Like they could have had one of her sisters play that alternate Wanda that was chasing them through the through the tunnels. That would be
Oh, but I
perfect.
say, or they could have brought them both in to play alternate versions of her and Quicksilver.
Ah,
Like there was a universe where they were identical twins and they were both female.
that would have been awesome. And again, this just goes to show the fact that they just completely just dropped the ball when it came to exploring the multiverse aspect in Multiverse of Madness. I feel like they dropped the ball, and I feel like there was so much left on the table. And even they said that there was a lot left on the table. We were supposed to get cameos from Ghost Rider and shit.
Ghost Rider is supposed to be the other the I forget what the version of Iron Man was, but the one where he had the fucking white suit.
Yeah, the Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise was
Yeah.
supposed to be playing that one. I would have accepted it. I would have accepted it. I seriously would have accepted it. Just because it's for that one movie. It's a cameo. Just leave it alone. Run away after that. But I don't know. Yeah, there was just so much that got left on that cutting room floor, and it really, really seriously upsets me. Now, also, let's jump back to the um White Spider Woman. All we got to do is find the original actress for Spider Woman from the old 80s cartoon.
Where is he going with this? Go ahead.
De-age her and have her play Spider Woman.
Uh, God.
That's Joan Van Ark, bro. Joan Van Ark.
Listen, man, that whole de-aging thing on camera doesn't always work.
Doesn't always work, but it's been working good so far. Like you see, dude, Rogue One, Leia.
Oh, oh,
That
okay. Let's look at Justice League. All they had to do was remove a mustache, and how'd that end?
there's a difference between de-aging and just being stupid. That yeah, DC don't ever hire Josh Whedon ever again. What is wrong with you going to the competition for help? That was a bad idea from the start. That was a horrible idea from the start. Nicolette Reed. Who the hell is this? I don't know. I don't know. I just feel like Marvel is, for me, I feel like they're going into some unexplored territory for themselves. So it's rocky and it's shaky for me. Do I have faith in them that they're gonna pull it off? Absolutely. I feel like they absolutely are gonna pull it off. Um, but right now, I just feel like there's just certain things I want to see from them that I'm not seeing yet. Like you said, X Men. I really like to see the X Men. I feel like another reason why they're waiting on the X-Men is to try to let all the Fox stuff die down, which at this point it's never gonna happen. The Fox stuff, it's too iconic, whether it be good or bad, it's too iconic to die down. So they might as well just rip the Band-Aid off and go for it. Because hell, if you want to do it that way, we can easily have start the X-Men on ground level and work them up. Put them on the ground level with Luke Cage and Defenders and stuff. You know, start at ground level that way. Because mutants are ground level. Hell, Miss Marvel, ground level. You know what I mean? Well, actually, technically, after this, they're about to throw her into the cosmic side.
Yeah, I always knew that was going to happen, though.
Yeah, want to know my theory on what happened at the end of that?
Go ahead.
All right, so okay, now follow me down this rabbit hole. Now, for me, the way I see it as is because last time we see Carol Danvers, we see her at the end of Shang-Chi. They're talking about how the rings sending out some kind of homing beacon, and that the rings are an alien technology. As we know, Kamala's bracelet, her bangle or bracelet, is also an alien technology. What kind of alien technology? They haven't really said because they're talking about more so the magic side of things. With that, so what I'm seeing is that while Carol was out in the infinite cosmos, following up a lead on the 10 rings, she comes across some kind of thing, whatever, some kind of beacon or so, ends up activating it. And it ends up swapping whoever was wearing the bracelet and that person. They essentially swap. So whoever Carol was just now, before that swap, is now where Kamala is.
Yes, I agree.
So whatever, so that's what's going to be. And from what the credit scene at the end says, Kamala Khan will return in the Marvels. So I would like to see how this all pans out with the Marvels. And I want to know if they're going to have Photon in there. Photon. Spectrum, Photon. I want to see if they're going to have her in there. Because ain't no way you're going to give this amazing actress, black woman, these powers, and then we not see her again. Especially with her close connections to Captain Marvel, who also had picked up the name Captain Marvel at one time in the comic books and then changed the name to Spectrum. Like, it has to be all three of them. If you're going to tell me it's the Marvels and there's only two of them, I'm going to feel some kind of way.
Well, here's the thing, too, and this goes back to what you were saying before. Now, with the bangle, they said that there was two of them. The bangle's part of a set.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Because you said the whole thing with the 10 rings, because like you see the flashback where they find it, and then they pan up and you see the 10 rings on the floor.
Thank you. I'm an idiot. I don't know why I didn't make that connection to that one right there.
So it's like it's all being tied together. The question is how.
So they put it right in front of my face, and I thought I made the connection. No, brother, they made the connection for you. You're right. Yeah. So what if the Bengals and the 10 rings were all a part of some cosmic power set of jewelry?
Sort of like the stuff from Yu-Gi-Oh.
Exactly, the Millennium items. You got the 10 rings. You got the Bengals. So
it could be like a set of earrings, a fucking nose ring. Who knows?
Necklace, a choker for the kinky one. But yeah, this is my magic nose piercing. It lets me When I sneeze, it teleports me to wherever I'm thinking of last. That'll be interesting. Now I want to do my research because if this is something so one, it'll be interesting if this is something that they like some new material that they're making right now with these, because of course when it comes to Kamala Khan, the bangle wasn't originally a part of her story,
Right.
and the 10 rings were actual like finger rings that were magic.
Right.
So they could just be taking some old material and warping it and putting it into like its own new storyline. Because with the ring sending out on a beacon, they're like, a beacon for what? A beacon for who? That's exactly what they said. So like, is it the clandestine or the Jinn? Is it something bigger? I'm really wow. Now this is some Easter eggs that I really want to look into now, because now we're starting to see more of Marvel's. So we see Marvel characters all the time. That's awesome. That's dope. Marvel lore all the time. But what I usually find more interesting is the items that are within Marvel. Like stuff like Eye of Agamotto, the Eye of Agamotto, Stormbreaker, Melnir, Zeus's Thunderbolt, the Ebony Blade, All Black Blade, 10 rings, these items, these super powered items that are just laying around, the Infinity Stone, the Infinity Gauntlet, these things that are just laying around out there in the cosmos.
Right.
Now I'm interested to see. Now I'm thinking. Now I want to see them like really start diving into these things now, especially like with the collector, everything that he had. So
Right.
there's so
He,
many. Mm,
'Cause he had some stuff in his collection that was pretty okay. Yeah, that would make sense.
hmm Yo, what if that's well? I know the collector's not dead yet, right?
Nah.
No, he's not dead yet. He's just pretty hurt. He's just hurt really, really bad because they blew up the collect. They blew up the collection.
At least I don't remember them killing him. At least not on screen.
No, that was Thanos. Thanos went there because he went to go get the last stone. They went to go get that stone or whatever because and he was on. That's why he was there. He was on nowhere, and he blew up the collection. Right? I don't know. I don't remember. I gotta go back and find it. But I know something happened to the collector and some shit blew up. Oh, apparently the collector and Jeff Goldblum's character are
Yeah.
brothers. Yeah, I'm an idiot. I didn't realize that until I was looking. I was like, huh, they have a lot of similarities with the blue line on the lip, and then I looked it up. I was like, oh, the brothers. Makes sense. They're highly eccentric and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's gonna be interesting. It's very interesting because I really want to see what they got going on with these um these cosmic items. So because we see Melnir's clearly put back together in the trailers for Love and Thunder. We clearly see Thor using Zeus's Thunderbolt. Interesting. Wonder what I find super interesting.
Go ahead.
Thor's the god of thunder,
Right.
yet he conducts electricity. He conducts lightning.
Yep.
Thunder and lightning are not the same thing, sir.
They're not.
And that's now I'm really thinking about it. Like this connotation, this connection that they've always brought to Thor call him the God of Thunder, but even in God of War, we see him as lightning.
That's what bothers you? Not in Thor Ragnarok about the fact that he's subdued by a taser?
Oh no, absolutely, that bothers me too. Absolutely, absolutely. Well, given the fact that also at that time he didn't know that he himself was a conduit for lightning. Again, just pushing aside the fact that he's the god of thunder, not the god of lightning. He's just gonna push that aside.
But yet he summons the major lightning bolt, which comes down and disperses and hits everyone. Nah, I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, right, right. That they're just so I'll say if you push that aside, granted he didn't know that he himself controlled lightning and was a conduit for lightning and it was his own power, and that Melnir was just a tool to help like a lightning rod for him to conduct his powers through so he doesn't blow himself up. All that aside, I can see the man getting tased because he's not really thinking about it. But wait, that's not the first time he got taken down by a taser.
Yes. Well, in the first one, he had lost his powers. So that's a little different.
Still a god. Still a god. So either way, he got tased when, you know, well, I guess if you look at it both ways, he didn't have he didn't have Melnir. Either way. But in the end, he's still supposedly this conductor of lightning or is in control of lightning. A taser shouldn't work on him. Aside from the fact, he's a god. He is a whole god. There is no way that he should be getting tased.
Yes, we agree.
I'm just saying, watch somebody try to tase Jesus.
Oh my God.
It's gonna be a different story.
Really, power. Really.
Just saying. Just saying. Tase Kratos. Watch what happens. I don't know. I just certain things don't make sense, and I think it's because there's so many cooks in the kitchen. I feel like things make sense when Feige has a strong hand on it, but when Feige starts letting some of those creative liberties be taken by the person that's like directing it or producing it, things start to get a little wonky. We start to find these small, tiny little plot holes and stuff. I feel like that's like every time. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I agree.
But I'm interested to see what they got going on next. I would really like them to throw in the X-Men sooner rather than later. But I also feel like the reason why they're not throwing it is because they don't know who to play Wolverine.
Jesus Christ. The only question is, do we go younger actor or older actor?
Honestly, yeah, at this point, I personally would go with younger actor because that's the thing, they want actors that are gonna have some longevity in the thing. They don't want to keep having to sign new contracts with different actors all the time. Spending more money. So I would go younger, and that way they can, like I said, that they have longevity. They can last longer within the MCU. And then on top of that, I'd say, who the hell cares at this point? I think they're stuck between the fan service of bringing in, the original actor, the first live action actors, or just scrapping and starting new because Fox has started over too many times, too many starts over, too many start overs. So they're not trying to do the same thing and they hit another reset. But also the actors that they currently have are too old to play the roles at this point. I mean, I'll take McAvoy.
I'll take Fassbender.
Yeah. But again, now we got to look at the time. We got to look at the timing. Or they can easily just rewrite the characters' backgrounds a little bit too. Multiverse. Maybe this version of Magneto that Fassbender plays isn't a Holocaust survivor. Right? Maybe they can go with a different story, a different setup for it. That's just what I'm thinking and what I'm seeing. Now wait a gosh darn minute. Yeah, he would have to be old as dirt because wasn't because if I remember correctly, in Captain America, the first movie, he went and saved a whole bunch of people from an internment camp. And they were fighting the Germans, right? Maybe my history is a little fuzzy and a little messed up, but ain't that like around the same time when things was happening? Didn't those two things happen at the same time? I don't know. I gotta because in that case, if they were to bring him in, he'd be as old as Captain America, maybe a little bit younger. Cap is like 100 something years old.
Right? Well, in the whole thing with X-Men Evolution, there is a episode where Cap, working alongside Wolverine, saves a young Magneto from an internment camp.
Ah, yeah, I almost forgot about that. Yeah.
Now, like in my mind, I'm thinking like if they updated it and did the whole thing where they made if they made Magneto black, like maybe he was a kid during the civil rights movement, or like maybe like the whole thing like how maybe his dad was a Panther and he was killed. Like there's ways that they could tie it in together, but it's like how would they make it work?
Nah, I feel like they'd catch too much hell for making Magneto black. They wouldn't do that because they would catch way too much hell for Magneto being black. They like I'm all for gender and race bending, but there's just some characters that kind of like big staple characters like that. I wouldn't mess with too much because that it would in a way defeat the purpose of why the character was created. Because then you got to go through and rewrite the entire backstory. Because again, X-Men were literally supposed to be, um, about racism.
Right.
So the thing was, it's supposed to be about racism, but it wasn't supposed to be on the nose. So now if you have Magneto black, then you got to make Charles black too. You see what I'm saying?
I'd be all right with that.
Yeah, I would too. But now you're going too on the nose about the racism.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying now.
Yeah, so oppression and stuff like that. It would just be too on the money, too on the nose. So they're like, all right, let's race bend a little bit here, make them two white guys, two old white guys. Let's bend it a little bit more, and it's like, oh, it's not black people being oppressed. It's now a different species of human being oppressed. Same ideas, same aspects, same things happening to them. But you know what? Let's make this species of people. Let's make them the species of people that's being oppressed. Let's make them super powered and damn near gods among men. So I feel like that was also a head nod. Shout out to y'all black and y'all strong. Keep going, kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I feel like it'll be too on the nose. Mm, only because yes, World War II and the Holocaust was the same time, so they can always easily run it that his mutation has him age slower.
This is
It,
true.
you can always blame in doubt when in doubt, blame it on the mutation.
Or he's found a way to experiment with his genetics to the point where he doesn't age like a normal person.
Well, yeah, technically, because remember they can also bring in the what was it, high evolutionary, right?
Right?
And because he was the one that he was experimenting with mutant genes, and he had the mutant amplifier.
So was Sinister.
Mm-hmm.
He's another one, man, that they keep name dropping. They keep making references to,
The
but
New
for
Mutants.
whatever
He was name
reason,
dropped in New Mutants.
what?
He was name dropped in New Mutants, wasn't he?
Yeah,
So,
they work for the Essex Corporation.
mm-hmm. And what was his name? Jonathan Essex?
Nathan.
Nathan Essex. Yeah. So I remember we talked about this when we were talking about in the episode of Archangel.
Yep. And then once again, we have the whole thing where he experiments on Archangel and everything like that. Shit, we could have Magneto see him do that to Archangel and then go to him because he's old and he's dying, and then next thing you know, he's young and at his peak again, but he wants to become like a slave to Apocalypse.
Yeah, and that's how it can be one of the four horsemen. But again, I wouldn't. In order to do it, they'd have to bring in Apocalypse before Magneto.
Well, it
Because
could be
like
one of
the
those things like it could be one of those things like where the Apocalypse is like the Thanos of that story. As far as the X-Men go, we've seen Apocalypse running around behind the scenes doing shit, but we never really actually seen him. We get little glimpses of him here and there. He cracks a smile, he puts on the glove, and then the next thing you know, he's out there wreaking havoc.
hmm, I don't know, but that's never been a. The thing about Apocalypse is he'd. Hmm, trying to think of how they would. And of course, they'd have to get a different actor to play Apocalypse, of course, because you know who played Apocalypse, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, they'd have to get somebody new, but I don't know. I don't know. I guess the way they did Apocalypse last time definitely left a bad taste in my mouth. But I will say, I loved his look though. I think he looked really good.
Oh, so
I feel,
you weren't one of those people who felt like he looked like a blue Ivan Ooze?
yes, he did, but he also does in the comics though as well. If you look at, I'm talking about like his suit and his aesthetic, like the suit, he looked very close to how he looked in like the or at least the animated TV show. I like that. I felt like it fit what we have been used to seeing, but also having a bit of a more modern flair to it. And I definitely say he definitely did look oozy, very very Ivan Oozy ish. But at the same time, it's like we can look over that a little bit. You can't look over about how bad the movie was because it also made no sense with Dark Phoenix as well. Did you see Dark Phoenix?
Of course I did.
I'm sorry. I personally feel like Dark Phoenix. I'll watch X Men Origins Wolverine before I watch Dark Phoenix again.
Well, damn.
Yeah, I will even clap during Deadpool scene before I watch Dark Phoenix again. Nothing about that movie made any sense whatsoever. None of it. Now, was it Dark Phoenix or it was Apocalypse where they had the whole saving everyone from the mansion scene with Quicksilver, right?
That was Apocalypse.
Yeah. And again with that one, that was the only good scene in the whole movie.
I
I
don't
will
know, man.
stand by it.
Destroying Auschwitz was something real special.
Hmm. That's also true. That's also true. I would also say I like their costumes though. I really did like the costuming on that. The wardrobe for that
Hmm.
for Apocalypse, I did like it though. I will say that I most certainly did like it. Um, I feel like it also we got to see Fassbender on the same Fassbender's Magneto finally at the same level as Ian, right? Ian, right?
Yes,
Wasn't it?
yes.
Yeah, Ian. As Ian's Magneto. That man took one hand, lifted the whole Golden Gate Bridge with one hand. Yeah, he's old, so he struggled a little bit, but one hand. So I did like the fact that we did get to see him finally on that level. Um, the way they did Storm annoyed me because there's Apocalypse. There's no way Apocalypse was supposed to be getting a hold of Storm before Xavier did.
Well, I think it's that whole thing with Storm being Egyptian, her growing up on the streets of Cairo. So it's like it kind of tied together, but that's just like how, technically T'Challa had met her back when she was a kid and they were in Wakanda. She winds up in Wakanda. So it's like,
Mm.
it's one of those things like where it's all perception in the eye of the holder and what stories you've read.
Yeah, me for Storm, I like the more traditional where she was being revered as a god in Africa, and then Xavier Puller was like, "Hey, no, something happened. She ended up losing control of her powers and like devastated the land or something like that, and the people hated her." And Xavier swooped in and was like, "Hey, come with me. I'll help you out, teach you, show you how to do things." And then from then on, that's where we get that. Um, I don't know. I just feel like if they were to do a Magneto, it would have to, like you said, it would have to be younger, um, or at least same age, but they'd have to tweak the backstory a little bit. They'd have to say like he definitely can't be a Holocaust survivor unless they pull it as in his mutant genes slow down his aging. They can still have it. Um, that could be a way that they bring in Wolverine by using Captain America. Because again, we don't know where the hell Steve is. We have no clue where Steve is, so he's not dead yet. They had no funeral for him. He's not dead. But I did. I don't know about you, but I most certainly did like the nod to him being on the moon.
What?
I like that nod because if you played Marvel's Avengers, the game, that's where he is.
That's where who is?
Captain America. In the game. That's where he is. He's on the moon.
Wait, where did you get the nod that he was on the moon?
Remember in Falcon and Winter Soldier, the young dude that's gonna become the new Falcon. He was
Yeah.
like everyone's saying that like Captain America's on the moon. So I like that reference to the game because that's where he was in the game. He was on the moon. He was being held captive on the moon by AIM.
Oh.
Yep. Well, it wasn't the moon per se. It was a space station. But still, he was being kept in space.
That's another thing too. After the fall of the Mandarin, in my air quotations, whatever happened to AIM?
I think AIM got absorbed with Hydra. Because remember, AIM was working for Hydra. Like AIM was their own thing, but they were working for Hydra. So there's a possibility that they just went underground as well.
Yeah, that's a possibility.
Or after they were working for the because that's the thing. AIM, they're not specifically affiliated with anyone. They work with whoever wants to work with them. That pays the most money to work with them. So if it's the 10 Rings paying them, they're going to work with the 10 Rings and they're going to develop tech for the 10 Rings. If Hydra's paying them, then they're going to develop and make stuff for Hydra.
Well, we saw the 10 Rings in Ant-Man because they were one of the ones interested in trying to buy the Yellow Jacket prototype.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, once again, all the
10
pieces
Rings
are
are
there.
everywhere.
You just gotta put the picture together.
You just gotta learn how to read. All the signs are there. You just gotta learn how to read the signs. Because, like I said, I wasn't expecting to see the 10 ring symbol on the ground in the mausoleum in Miss Marvel. I wasn't expecting to see that. I wasn't expecting to see where else did the 10 rings pop up unexpectedly recently.
Nowhere else I can think of off the top of my head.
I'm trying to think. I swear they popped up in something else recently. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. Oh man. With that said, I think we should call it. We've been rocking for a good 2 hours on this. I feel like this went really well. Next time we'll get some more people in on this. But dude, yeah, Marvel got some stuff up their sleeve, and hopefully, and it looks like they're subtly laying the groundwork for the X-Men. I just my ass is impatient.
Aren't we all?
Yeah, I'm impatient. But yeah, with that being said, this has been the Super Breakdown Limited Edition Live. We are coming to you every Sunday at 6 p.m. If anything, differs from that, we will definitely let you, the fans, know. So definitely tune in to us right here on this Facebook, that Facebook, on Twitch as well. Weeks Gaming Network on Twitch. And just check us out. Like, comment, subscribe, share, let everyone else know. And we'll be back at you next time around. I'm your host, Power Maximus, and I'm here with none other
Everyone's
than
favorite demigod, Lord Triage.
absolutely. We're gonna be back at it again next Sunday. Peace. And oh yeah, just so y'all guys know, next time y'all got a motherfucker trying to ice skate uphill, smack. Peace.
Peace.